my heart with your everlasting.
What if the song that changed your life came from an artist you never heard from again? In 1975, a single year gave rise to voices that lit up the airwaves, then vanished into the mist of memory. These weren't household names like Elton John or Fleetwood Mac. No, these were the musical apparitions, artists who delivered one unforgettable hit and then disappeared into the shadows. But why? What made these songs so powerful, yet their creators so elusive? And why do some of these tracks still haunt us nearly 5 decades later? Today, we're opening a time capsule of sonic snapshots from a year when disco took its first steps, rock experimented with softer edges, and soul music was at its most seductive. These are the 15 one-hit wonders of 1975, the untold stories behind the voices that burned bright and then burned out. And believe me, each one carries a twist you didn't see coming. Let's drop the needle and uncover the mysteries behind track 1. It sounded like it belonged in a James Bond movie, and maybe it should have been.
We could have touched the sky. You've blown it all sky.
The British band Jigsaw dropped a track in 1975 that didn't just flirt with danger, it soared straight into it. Sky High was a pop meets orchestral thriller drenched in strings, urgency, and heartbreak. But what most people never realized? It wasn't just a love song, it was a theme for a martial arts action film, The Man from Hong Kong. Clive Scott and Des Dyer weren't aiming for the Billboard charts. They were writing to accompany flying fists, chase scenes, and revenge plots. But instead, they accidentally created one of the slickest, most unforgettable love-loss anthems of the mid-70s. The song exploded, hitting number 1, 3 on the Billboard Hot 100, cracking the UK Top 10, and even reaching number 1 in Japan. So why didn't Jigsaw become the next Bee Gees? Was it mismanagement? A one-time fluke? Or was the band too polished to be cool? Despite global success, the group never found its second wind. By 1983, they quietly disbanded, leaving Sky High to live on in commercials, remixes, and nostalgia playlists. A lone skyscraper and a skyline they never got to build. But if Sky High was heartbreak with a cinematic twist, the next track took heartbreak into the bedroom. And lit candles all the way. The lights were dim, the strings swelled, and somewhere, hearts were breaking in slow motion. Major Harris wasn't a household name, but in 1975, his voice poured through speakers like velvet and honey.
Take a flight and spend the night.
Love Won't Let Me Wait wasn't just a ballad. It was a slow jam that felt like an entire relationship condensed into 4 minutes.
I need your love so desperately.
Written by the iconic Vinnie Barrett and Bobby Eli, and backed by a wave of smooth Philadelphia soul, the track glided to number 1, 5 on the Hot 100, and took the top spot on the R&B chart. And with lyrics like, "I need your love so desperately," Harris made desire sound sacred. But here's the twist. Major Harris had just left the Delphonics when he recorded this track. It was his shot at solo stardom, so what went wrong? Despite earning gold certification and topping bedroom playlists nationwide, Harris never found another song that captured lightning in a bottle. Critics praised the track, but the music industry moved fast and he was left behind. Love Won't Let Me Wait still lingers in wedding playlists and quiet storm hours, but its creator would drift quietly into soul history. And just when we were all catching our breath, the dance floor exploded. Before Donna Summer, before Gloria Gaynor, there was Shirley Goodman, and she was not here to whisper. In 1975, Shame, Shame, Shame by Shirley and Company wasn't just a hit, it was a warning shot.
Don't stop the motion. If you get the notion, you can't stop.
This song didn't ask for permission. It stormed the disco with saxophones blazing and feet stomping. Produced by Sylvia Robinson, the same mastermind behind Sugar Hill Records and Rapper's Delight, this track brought two musical powerhouses together at just the right moment. Goodman's gritty, gospel-trained voice soared over a funky groove and a sax solo that practically smoked. The track didn't just chart, it charged. Number 12 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 1 on the soul charts. It helped kick off the disco revolution. But did Shirley and Company ride that wave? Not quite. The group was essentially a one and done. Goodman, who had found earlier success in the 50s with Let the Good Times Roll, disappeared again. After this flash of brilliance, was disco ready for her? Absolutely. But the industry was fickle, and Shirley's voice, raw, powerful, unfiltered, may have been too real for what came next. One thing's for sure, without Shame, 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 the glitter ball might have taken a little longer to spin. And from disco highs, we fall into something strangely self-aware. How often does a song tell you exactly where it sits on the charts?
I'm the son of a gun. So hold it right there, little girl, little girl.
That's what Pete Wingfield did, literally.
Finger on the trigger, I'm gonna pull it. I'm a super.
In 1975, this British producer and session player dropped 18 with a Bullet, a tongue-in-cheek doo-wop number that sounded straight out of the 1950s, until you realized it was cheekily nodding at its own chart rise. When it entered the Billboard Hot 100 at number 18 with a bullet, signaling rapid ascent, the song became meta in the best way possible. It was both a hit and about being a hit.
Maybe an oldie, but I'm a goodie too.
The UK loved it. America was fascinated. It climbed to number 15 in the States, and critics applauded its wit. But Wingfield wasn't interested in being a pop star. He was a music nerd, a behind-the-scenes guy. Once 18 with a Bullet had made its mark, he returned to producing and writing for others. And just like that, he left the spotlight. But this wasn't the only one-hit wonder that packed a surprise. Because next, a studio experiment with no band, no faces, just funk. You've heard the phrase Dynamite. Made famous by JJ from the hit sitcom Good Times. But what if someone turned that catchphrase into a literal funk explosion? Enter Bazooka. Not a band, but a brainchild. In 1975, producer Tony Camillo, already known for his work on Gladys Knight's Midnight Train to Georgia, assembled a studio-only project. No frontman, no backstory. Just raw, rhythmic energy bottled into one track. Dynamite. It blasted into the Billboard Hot 100, peaking at number 10 and climbing to number 6 on the US dance charts. With wah-wah guitars, heavy brass, and a groove built for sweaty dance floors, it was designed to make bodies move. And it did. But Bazooka never showed their faces. No tour, no follow-up. No chance for fans to connect with the people behind the sound. Could anonymity have killed the momentum? Or was Dynamite always meant to be a one-time detonation? Whatever the case, Bazooka disappeared just as fast as they arrived. But the track itself? Still a DJ's best-kept secret at throwback funk parties. And now, from a faceless funk bomb to a face streaked with tears. You've heard it. You've probably cried to it. And you might not know the legal war behind it.
rolling down on my face, trying.
Feelings by Brazilian singer Morris Albert was released in 1974 but bled into 1975, like a wound that wouldn't close. Its sorrowful chorus, "Feelings, nothing more than feelings," became the unofficial soundtrack for breakups, lost loves, and late-night regrets.
Again in my heart.
The song reached number 1, 6 on the Billboard Hot 100, and soared to number 2 on the Adult Contemporary chart. Its haunting simplicity made it unforgettable. But then came the lawsuit. In 1986, French composer Lulu Gastet sued Morris Albert, claiming he had lifted the melody from Gastet's 1956 composition, Pour Toi. The court sided with Gastet, forcing Albert to add him as co-writer and give up a large portion of the royalties. So was Feelings stolen genius or accidental mimicry? Regardless, it was Morris Albert's one shining moment. And despite the controversy, the track remains iconic, used in films, parodied endlessly, and embedded in the emotional DNA of a generation. But if Feelings was a ballad of loss, the next song took us deeper into emotional identity. What happens when you're living in someone else's memory? That was the haunting question at the heart of I'm Not Lisa, the breakout hit by country artist Jessie Coulter.
My eyes are not blue.
Released in 1975, the song introduced us to Julie, a woman desperately trying to love someone who's still clinging to a lost love named Lisa. With a stark piano arrangement and Coulter's trembling, mournful vocals, the song was both country and something else entirely, an emotional confession that transcended genres.
Lisa,
It reached number 1, 4 on the Billboard Hot 100, and topped the country chart. And for a moment, Jessie Coulter stood shoulder to shoulder with the male-dominated giants of the outlaw country movement, even as she was married to one of them, Waylon Jennings. Critics called it a modern elegy for emotional displacement. Fans just knew it hurt. Yet despite continued recordings, Coulter never again captured the public's heart the way she did with I'm Not Lisa.
drowning in your tears. Here.
Was it timing? Was it industry bias? Or was the song simply too personal to duplicate? Whatever the reason, this was Coulter's solo summit. And it still echoes for anyone who's ever loved someone stuck in the past. Now, from heartbreak to heat. It starts with a groove so smooth you don't even realize you're swaying. Leon Haywood's 1975 classic, I Wanna Do Something Freaky to You, wasn't just a sultry R&B anthem. It became a foundational track for the next generation of hip-hop. Laced with lush strings, a thick bass line, and Haywood's whispered promises, it climbed to number 15 on the Hot 100 and number 7 on the R&B chart. But its legacy didn't stop there. Fast forward to 1992, Dr. Dre samples the exact same track for Nothing But a G Thing.
1, 2, 3 into the 4. Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre is at the dope, ready to make it.
One of the most iconic rap songs of all time. Haywood's influence now stretched beyond bedrooms, into streets, clubs, and MTV. But what's shocking? Haywood never had another hit quite like this. Despite writing for legends like Carl Carlton and producing for blues and soul acts, his personal discography never again climbed the charts. Still, Freaky didn't just survive, it transformed. It became the DNA of West Coast rap and remains a sensual staple in R&B playlists today. And now, from seductive whispers to cheeky charm, it started with a motel key and ended with a wink.
Flying boots, tied small.
Third-Rate Romance by the amazing Rhythm Aces snuck onto the scene in 1975 with the sly charm of a backroom storyteller. Written by lead singer Russell Smith, the track painted a picture of two strangers fumbling their way into a one-night stand.
Find a table in a ritzy restaurant.
Casual, clever, and dripping with Southern wit. It wasn't glamorous, it wasn't polished, but that's what made it so irresistible. The song peaked at number 1, 14 on the Billboard Hot 100 number, 11 on the country chart, even topping charts in Canada. Its laid-back groove and half-smirking lyrics made it an instant cult favorite. So why didn't the Aces follow it up with another mainstream hit? They had the talent. They had the fans. But the industry had shifted, and this band's refusal to chase trends may have cost them. Still, Third-Rate Romance remains a snapshot of mid-70s America. Quirky, heartfelt, and just a little tipsy. And now we roll into the haze of something cooler, darker, and far more mysterious. It floated through the radio like a dream. Software mysterious, almost hypnotic. Jackie Blue by the Ozark Mountain Daredevils wasn't what you'd expect from a southern rock band known for harmonicas and heartland grit.
Ooh, Jackie, they've lost it sometime. Don't try to tell me that
This track felt like a California breeze slipping through your window at 2 a.m. But the story behind it? Even stranger. Originally written about a male drug dealer, the lyrics were later reworked to feature Jackie, a reclusive, enigmatic woman lost in her own world. That subtle shift added layers of emotional depth. Suddenly, Jackie became every misunderstood soul you've ever known.
Ooh, Jackie, they've lost it sometime. Don't try to tell me that you're
Released in early 1975, Jackie Blue reached number 1, 3 on the Billboard Hot 100, and topped the Cashbox chart. The band never had another hit that big. Why? Maybe the Daredevils were too hard to categorize. Not southern rock enough, not pop enough, but Jackie Blue endures as a haunting anthem for loners, dreamers, and anyone who's ever felt like a beautiful mystery.
that her life is a drag. Ooh, Jackie, what fun you have.
And next up, a dance prescription from a disco pioneer. In the era of bell-bottoms and mirror balls, one woman showed up with a prescription. Dance. Carol Douglas's Doctor's Orders wasn't just a song, it was a diagnosis. The cure? Heartbreak recovery via disco groove. Originally a UK hit, Douglas's US version dropped in late 1974 and soared into 1975, peaking at number 11 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 2 on the disco singles chart. With bright orchestration, playful lyrics, and Douglas's confident vocals, the track felt like Donna Summer before Donna Summer. And yet, this was her peak. Despite pioneering female-led disco in the States, Carol Douglas never repeated this commercial success. Was she too early? Or did the rising tide of disco divas leave her behind? Whatever the answer, Doctor's Orders remains a glittering disco classic, prescribed still to those needing a dose of joy. But if Douglas got us moving, the next voice took us someplace slower, deeper. Before the track even starts, you know it's gonna groove. Rockin' Chair by Gwen McCrae was more than a response song. It was a statement.
Whisper softly.
In 1974, her husband George McCrae scored a hit with Rock Your Baby. A year later, Gwen answered, and may have outshined him.
Hey, in my rocking chair all night long. Come on, baby.
Released in May 1975, Rockin' Chair blended funk, soul, and sensuality into one confident package. It climbed to number 9 on the Billboard, Hot 100, and snagged the top spot on the R&B chart. With lyrics that whispered empowerment and seduction, Gwen didn't just match her husband, she challenged him. But while Gwen continued making music, this remained her commercial peak. Was it the competition, industry politics, or just the fleeting nature of fame? Either way, Rockin' Chair endures as a soul staple, and a moment where Gwen McCrae sat in the spotlight and owned it. Now, time to turn up the amps. What's more American than a guitar solo about heartbreak on the highway? There Goes Another Love Song by the Outlaws, dropped in 1975 like a leather-clad meteor from the South. Blending country twang with electric energy, it painted love as fleeting and freewheeling, something you lost at every rest stop. Written by Huey Thomason and Monty Yoho, the track peaked at number 34 on the Billboard Hot 100. It wasn't a smash, but it stuck, especially with fans who craved the fusion of southern grit and arena-ready rock. The Outlaws went on to earn respect in the southern rock scene, but they never again crossed over like they did with this track. Still, There Goes Another Love Song is a road trip essential, a perfect soundtrack for when you're leaving someone or something behind. But as we near the end of our journey, the next tribute steps into the ring. What happens when a boxer inspires a reggae anthem?
Catch me if you can.
In 1975, Johnny Wakelin, a British singer, crafted a tribute to Muhammad Ali that no one saw coming. Black Superman combined reggae rhythms with pop storytelling, creating a love letter to a man who refused to be silenced, tamed, or forgotten. Ali had just returned to glory after defeating George Foreman in the Rumble in the Jungle. Wakelin seized the moment and the momentum. The song reached number 1, 21 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 7 in the UK. It wasn't just catchy, it was reverent. Lines like, "He floats like a butterfly and stings like a bee," immortalized Ali in melody. But Wakelin? He faded. No follow-up hit, no second round. Still, for one shining moment, his voice became the anthem of a champion. And now we end with a song that didn't just top the charts, it sparked a movement. You know the beat. You've heard the command. Do the hustle. Van McCoy wasn't just making music in 1975. He was starting a cultural phenomenon. The hustle was a disco dream, an instrumental so addictive, you could feel your feet moving before your brain even caught up. Written and produced by McCoy after witnessing dancers doing the hustle in a New York club, the track captured the heartbeat of a brand new era. It reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, and dominated dance floors around the world. But McCoy, a seasoned songwriter and arranger, never scored another hit this big. Did he need to? The hustle became eternal. It's played in movies, at weddings, in workout classes, and anywhere that disco still dares to dance. One song, one beat, and one unforgettable invitation to move. And there you have it. 15 songs, 15 artists, 15 moments that defined 1975, then disappeared. They weren't just one-hit wonders. They were glimpses into hearts, studios, and stories we almost never got to hear again. So which of these tracks surprised you most? Which one do you remember dancing to, crying to, or forgetting until now? Drop your memories in the comments and keep spinning those rare vinyl grooves because you never know when a one-hit wonder will hit you all over again.